Welcome everyone to the Maldives night. And we have, so tonight it'll be uh, actually four of the five people were all on one trip, the same trip. So it's Jane Marshall, Liz Roberts, Kara Judd, and Vanessa Kahn. And then Michael Leach, who will be showing it images, he was on a different trip. So, and I know I've said this before at other meetings. What I always find interesting is you put a bunch of photographers in an area to shoot, and at the end of the day, you're looking at the images, and they're all so different. Uh, Clearly, everyone has different styles, but you're looking at and for all different kinds of animals. So I know when I'm in that situation and I'm in there, and I always say to myself, God damn, how come I didn't see this? Or I missed this, I missed that. So it's always exciting to see how other people see things. Let me admit a few more. Oh, good. Now we've got a bunch of people here. Okay, so now I will begin by sharing. And then once we're done with this, then Michael, will have you at the end to show your images, if that's okay. And so, oops, admit. And okay. So now the way, Vanessa, I will be the clicker. So you just give me a nod or just say okay, and then I'll advance unless I can pick up by the tone of your voice that you are looking to move on.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
That avoids the screen sharing um, issues that
Yeah.
we all have. Starting off strong, this was definitely like the first or second dive that we had. Um, I think maybe the others will remember better, but obviously like seeing a green sea turtle resting in the coral on one of the earliest dives is a really good sign. I feel like all the trips I've been on, it's kind of rare if you see like one or two green sea turtles or any type of sea turtle um, throughout the week. But I'd say we saw, I don't know, like 20 turtles, maybe even more. So that was really exciting. And this one was pretty big. Uh, got like some of the fish in the background. And he was just real, or he or she was very calm. We were all able to come around it and like get our picture. And I'm pretty sure it just stayed in the coral the entire time and was just um, posing for everyone. Oh, next.
Yeah, I'm clicking, but nothing's happening here.
Oh.
Okay, now we're good. All right.
And then yeah, I guess I should say I'm shooting on a Canon EOS 5D Mark IV the whole time. Um, and for the most part, I'm shooting with a wide angle lens and a wide angle dome, but this was also the first trip where I brought a 100 millimeter macro lens and a macro dome. I definitely felt more comfortable with the wide angle, so I stuck with that more often. Plus, we were seeing a lot of larger animals, but most of these were shot on a wide angle. And I had two ion strobes as well. Um, this picture I really liked it. Growing up with SpongeBob reminds me a lot of Patrick Star. Um, and it was placed so nicely in the coral, and the colors are really beautiful. Um, yeah, not much to say about it. And then this was another early dive. I think we started with the manta rays pretty early on. And it's like I took hundreds and hundreds of photos of them, and it was really hard to decide because they're just so magnificent. And they were getting really close to us, swimming above us. One of them swam into someone, and got jostled around. So yeah, I think I tried to limit my manta ray photos, but I really like this one because you can also see the eagle ray in there, which again, like if you go to most other locations, it's really special to see an eagle ray. But in this particular dive, it's like everybody was ignoring the eagle ray because there were so many beautiful manta rays around. Um, but yeah, like any other location, if you see those eagle rays, it's like, oh my gosh. And you're lucky if you see one per week or per dive trip. Um, so yeah, I think it was really cool to get both the manta ray and the eagle ray in there.
Vanessa, for some reason your sound goes loud and soft and loud and soft. I'm not sure why. We can hear you, but it sometimes gets really soft.
Let me, is this a little bit better?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably just because I'm far away from my computer. Um, so this next one, there were so many little moray eels. I think this is just like a black moray eel, like a really standard one. This was a moment where I wish I had my macro lens. This was taken again on a wide angle lens. And a macro lens, I think, would have probably served this scene a little bit better. But because I had the wide angle, you can get some of the small little orange fish in front. Um, oh, it's a black cheek moray eel. I'm getting facts handed to me. Thank you. Um, my Andrew is also here, and he was in the Maldives with us. He took some of these photos, I think, actually. So I'll call him out if
So,
we
so Vanessa, I believe this is one of the more aggressive morays that are out there, and they can
Yes.
actually go after you a bit.
So I actually had one bite me. It was much smaller than this one. But there was during one of the dives where you use a reef hook, and you hook into the reef, and right before I could get my reef hook in, I was like holding on to a piece of coral so to keep myself in place because the current was really strong. And one of them came out and nipped my finger. And that wasn't the first or last time that
Oh.
our group had run-ins with moray eels. A lot of them were aggressive and were um, coming out. There was one of them that definitely came at me because again, I was shooting on a wide angle lens. So in order to get up close, you have to get close to it, which is another reason why the macro lens would have been um, really useful. But yeah, Michael, you're right. A lot of them were really nasty, and I definitely got a little warning bite by one of them. It was a small one though, so it wasn't too bad.
Did you have any other species other than this one do that, or was it just this species? Do you remember?
I think it was just the the black cheek ones that
Right.
were particularly aggressive. It's hard to say though. I personally didn't see as many of the other species. Um, the black cheek ones were in abundance there, and I did notice that most of them, when I got close to them, would come out of their hole and kind of like try to
Yeah.
intimidate. So yeah. I didn't have many other run-ins like that. So another beautiful manta ray photo, or just manta ray in general. And I like this one because you can see some of them in the background and you can get, I forget, I'm sure someone on this call knows their little like nose things. I like how in this picture they're curled upwards, and then in the background you can see the one behind it. It's not curled, it's out straight. I forget what they're called. Um, but it was really cool to like observe them feeding right in front of us, that's where we were. We were at like a really popular feeding ground for them. So we were able to see them up close like that.
Very cool.
And then another one with its mouth wide open. This one, obviously, I was a lot farther away, so the color is kind of washed out, but I just like this one so much because it's coming straight on and you can literally see into its mouth and into its body. Another good shot of, yes, that's what it's called. The cephalic fin. Yeah, so it was interesting to look back on the photos and see how some of them were like curled up and some of them were more open, and I assume that was like a feeding behavior or part of their feeding ritual.
That would make sense because they'd be funneling the plankton right into them.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I like this picture too because you get a size reference to see how big these animals really are. You can see the divers in the background. And they were just so big. So this is a macro photo. This might actually be the only macro photo I included in here. I'm not sure what species this is. I don't know if anyone in here knows, but
Some kind of sea bass. I don't know. Michael, do you know? No, I
it
would say
almost looks like a grouper. I was gonna like kind of grouper like, but this is a really it was small, which is why the macro lens was perfect for it. And you get a little bit of the soft coral in there, and yeah, just it was a very sharp image. I kind of struggled with the macro lens in the focus a lot. Again, this was my first trip bringing a macro setup, so a lot of my macro pictures came out blurry. So this is one that I'm just really proud of for no particular reason, but I'm glad the fish was in like perfect position for this photo.
cooperated.
Yeah. Another macro. So we saw lots of scenes like this, like very stereotypical. I think this is a clownfish, right?
Yep.
Clownfish, yeah. Um, and an anemone.
It's a Blackfoot anemone fish.
Okay. Is that a type of clownfish?
Yeah, clownfish is a more
It's the broad.
common name. Anemone fish is probably slightly more scientific, although clearly
Yep.
not the real scientific name.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we saw lots of anemone fish, so good opportunity for macro photography. Again, I was struggling with it. I know like most photographers prefer macro, or underwater photographers prefer macro. I was just kind of struggling with getting the focus right and the settings properly. So again, any macro photo that I have, I'm just super proud of. And this one in particular, I like because I'm pretty sure that's a little baby in there. Um, and these fish were also really aggressive when you got close to their anemone, but that's to be expected, and they're not very intimidating. But yeah, they would come
Sometimes
out. They would like swim in your face like that and like try to intimidate you, or even come at the dome, which is another reason why I have lots of unfocused pictures, is they would just shoot out at the dome of the camera. So
like
they were not as cooperative.
some species of the anemone fish are more aggressive than others. Some of them are just sort of laid back, but
Yeah.
it could also be too that they maybe have their eggs underneath, and sometimes that ratchets up a little bit of the defensiveness. So
Yeah. Another one, this one I remember in particular was extremely defensive. You can kind of see in the upper left-hand corner, there was a little baby, and there was actually a couple of them in this anemone. And I love this anemone too. It's so different than anything I've ever seen.
Don't touch that.
Um, I, does anybody know what this one is?
Clark's. Is it a type of corkscrew anemone?
Oh, yes.
And a tomato clownfish, maybe?
Yeah.
No, I think
not,
Clark's.
not a tomato. Is that Clark's? Or is it a
I
false?
think it's a Clark's.
Yeah.
Tomato would be bright red.
I
Right,
think
much
it's a Clark's
better.
as well.
What do you think, Bobby?
So I'm gonna move along a little bit
Yeah.
because I have like 5 people, so.
Yep.
uh,
This was a really cool find. There were a couple of cuttlefish that were pretty close together on this dive, and they obviously blended in like so well. And I I forget who found them, but it was like a huge find. And there were a lot of other diver groups on this dive, and everyone was like enamored with this. Is a really big cuttlefish too. There were two of them, and they were both like the biggest cuttlefish I've ever seen. Another one that of a sea turtle. I don't think this is a green sea turtle. And this was on an early dive as well. And again, I just like this one because you can see the divers in the background. And this was another pretty big turtle. And I like how the strobes kind of gave it this like darker background, brighter foreground. This was also pretty deep too, which lended itself to that.
That's a hawksbill.
Okay, yes. Yep, they have those out there. And then this was a photo that I thought was kind of funny because I didn't realize that there was a turtle sleeping on the coral in the background until I looked at it afterwards. I was aiming to get a picture of the eel. And then I kind of looked in closer and I was like, oh, that's a turtle back there. And it kind of just blends in. This would have been another good macro photo, but I'm glad I had the wide angle lens so that you can see the turtle in the background. And it also is just a testament to the amount of biodiversity in this area, and the health of the reef. Like there's eels, there's turtles, there's fish, and they're all coexisting in very small spaces together. So that's always a good thing to see. And then I think that this is the same turtle. And just another really good wide angle shot that boasts the biodiversity of the area. Again, I've not been diving many places, but this is by far the best coral I've seen, the best biodiversity I've seen of any place that I've been to.
Oh.
And then we were super lucky to get some whale shark photos. This kind of comes with a story, but I won't go into it. But basically, our dive guide, Musa, grabbed my hand and swam so fast. We completely lost the group. So me and my dive buddy, Andrew, had to surface after this. But I'm pretty sure we were the only people in the group that were able to like really get a clear shot of the whale shark. And it was just kind of chaotic. You can see there's tons of snorkelers in the water that kind of like ruined the shot a little bit, but it was so awesome to swim up beside a whale shark and be able to capture this photo, courtesy of our dive guide Musa, because I would not have been able to swim fast enough to catch up to it if he hadn't grabbed my hand and propelled me. And then this is one that Andrew actually took. So this was snorkeling, and the colors are so much better because he was shooting it from the top, and I couldn't handle the camera just in the snorkeling gear, and he took the camera and shot actually many amazing photos of the whale shark. And I just think this one is really nice because it was pretty shallow enough where you can see the natural color and the natural pattern of the shark. This was another macro one. Again, nothing special about it. I was just really proud of it. I think these were some schooling fish that were in a cave, so it has a really dark backdrop and really iridescent yellow, so it's super cool. And then another anemone fish. This one, it had its its ready to fight face on, and I was happy to capture that. Our goldfish does that when he is feeling intimidated, so it was just kind of funny to capture that moment because definitely, like I said, the anemone fish were pretty territorial, and I think this captures that. And then this was a huge, I think this was another black cheek eel. I'm pretty sure this was the one that kind of came at me. Obviously, he's huge and he could hold his own against me. So I snapped this picture and then left him alone. But I really like how you can see the textures of his face, and it's just super clear. And you can kind of tell that he's a big guy.
That's probably a giant moray. The black cheek ones don't get that big.
Oh, good point. Yeah, all the black cheek ones were pretty small. So yeah, it might be like a giant. And then this one was like mid-size, but you can definitely tell that he was pretty girthy too. And I love head-on shots of eels. I think it's so silly and cool because you get them from the side with their mouth open and they look like really intimidating, but you get them head on and they just look so silly. This was a super friendly octopus. We hung out with this octopus probably for like 30 minutes of the dive. And he like initially came right up to I swear I think he saw the camera and was like what is this? And it felt like he just walked right up to me with the camera. And we just hung out with him and he posed. And this photo, I didn't have the flash on. And so you can kind of get the little reflection of water, like the little rainbow reflection, through the water. So I thought that was really cool. And then this was during the nurse shark dive. These sharks were huge and another magnificent animal. The current was atrocious, like so strong. And if you let go, you would just blow away. Um, so I was really happy to get a photo of this shark actually mid-yawn. Um, and I just thought it was super cool. And you can see there was a lot of them around and they were just resting on the seafloor. And then another one of the octopus, you can kind of see he's in the middle of changing colors, which was super cool. And then that was after he switched colors. So he was really just putting on a show, like, and he wasn't hiding. Like he seemed really comfortable with us being around. He even gave a little handshake to one of the divers in our group, voluntarily. Like he was just very curious, about us. And I imagine he's encountered many divers before because he seemed to be super comfortable with us. And then yeah, just another wide shot. You've got a massive, they had huge parrotfish. That was probably munching on some algae, and it was just so beautiful. You can see there's definitely some dead corals and some coral bleaching, but overall it was one of the most biodiverse areas that I've been in. There were so many great photo ops. Oh, one more. This was actually during a rainstorm, and I just included this picture because that like the top of the frame is all rain, and the lightning you could see like it was illuminate, like it got really dark all of a sudden, and then there would be these illuminations underwater, and it was like nothing I've ever seen before. It was crazy. And obviously the picture was super cool to see. It was like a downpour. And it was just penetrating the water, and it was really cool.
You know, I don't like being in there with lightning, but being in the underwater when it is a lot heavy rain, yeah, it is very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. This was the one shipwreck that we did. So I forget the name of this shipwreck. It was at like 90 to 100 feet, and you had the option to go inside and explore. It was just kind of like your typical shipwreck, but it was super cool. I've never been to a shipwreck. This was my first one, so it's exciting. And then that's Andrew exploring through the shipwreck. That was another thing. I thought I wouldn't be able to go inside because I'd be too scared. So it was cool to go inside and capture these photos. Yeah, not much to say about it. Just super cool. This, I think, what these were like electrical wires at one point that obviously have succumbed to the depths of the ocean, and I just thought this was a really cool shot. There were some giant clams in there as well that were super cool. And then this was I believe this is a spinner shark. We saw like hundreds of them swim by, and it wasn't the only large group of sharks that we saw, but I just liked this shot because you can kind of get an idea of how many sharks were swimming by us.
Should have happened with us.
And then this
Mm.
is another shot that I didn't take. Our dive guide Musa took this. He grabbed the camera and swam down with the tiger shark. But it's obviously an amazing shot, and you can see why it's called a tiger shark.
Oh,
Hopefully it's a friendly one.
okay, now is Liz. I don't remember seeing you, Liz here. But is Liz here tonight? Nope. Okay. Well, and I will do Liz, unless there's somebody, the people who've gone to Maldives want to narrate some of this, as I have not been there, but I could give it a shot. But okay.
I could probably help out.
All right. These humbugs are, I forget what these are. Michael, do you know the name of these?
No, I forget. There's some kind of damselfish, and they're in
Some
the acropora coral, but I don't remember the exact name.
Okay.
Scorpion
Scorpion.
fish.
Scorpion fish.
Very nice, nestled in. Ooh.
Is that a goby?
Goby?
Maybe?
I think
Yeah.
some sort of goby. Definitely big eyes hiding in a little coral.
Wow.
Another anemone fish. Is this Clark's or false? No, correct me if I'm wrong. No. Well, another anemone fish. I'm not sure which one. Ooh, another one, a mystery anemone fish, I believe. Oh, great shots. Did you see these a lot in the on the trip? It's bannerfish, I believe.
Yeah, we saw
schooling
a
bannerfish.
fair amount.
Oh,
There were a
There's two
few
types.
different types too.
Yeah, there's two types of bannerfish.
so
That's a cool shot.
Those-
You can see the
What are the banded coral shrimp?
Banded coral shrimp.
yeah in the background.
and the Anthias, the
Um,
orange Anthias. Anthias are these little orangey jobs. Looks like a cleaning station because it looks under here like there's a neon goby here, and I wouldn't be surprised if the shrimp were also coming in and taking some of and another shrimp right up here too. All a multi species cleaning station.
There was a lot of cleaning stations. When I was going through my photos, I was kind of surprised seeing how many of them you could just catch the small cleaner fish at different species I didn't see it when I was taking the photo, but there they were.
That's always the case. Ah. I'm not sure what that is. It looks like it's sort of a juvenile wrasse. Do you, nope. Okay. And went to the little coral
Some
crab is
sort of a
one
crab,
here,
I
another
think.
one here.
Me-
And, hmm. Wow.
That's me.
Oh,
That's me underneath. Another one where you can get the scale of how big they were.
did anyone see the other night in Rockport the last dive story? It really was a nice documentary about manta rays and off the off the by uh,
See if
Baja, California. Yeah, it was quite good. Anyway, wow, someone's
Cat's getting
getting
bumped in the
hit by
head.
it. Yeah, holy cow! Who was bumping who? Was the manta crashing in?
Yeah, because she's on a reef hook.
Oh,
They would just swoop down. They just kept coming and coming in droves.
did you have to use the reef hooks a lot?
I would say maybe 20% of our dives.
Wow.
Does
Okay.
that sound right
It
to
was
the others?
more than I was anticipating, but once I got the hang of it, I had never used one before. It was actually super relaxing because you
Yeah.
could just focus on looking around at stuff. So
Oh my God, this
this is
fish was so cool. I wanted to show a picture of this, but my macro's not great. And I wanted to show a video, but videos are hard on Zoom. This, I don't know what the name of it is, but it would change shape. I've never seen any kind of
Grass.
animal other than like an octopus do that.
I can't remember the name of this. Michael, you know what this is?
It's a wrasse, but I forget which one. There's
Mm.
like 5 million wrasses.
Mm-hmm.
Slight exaggeration, but
More than whose names you know.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. The Anthias and what, a few different species of coral, 3 different species of, I don't know if that's also 4 different species of coral. 5. Yeah, pretty impressive. Well,
Is that a batfish?
batfish.
batfish, yeah.
There was a
And
lot of batfish under our boats when we would do our safety stops.
another general type of sea bass, maybe a small grouper and sponge encrusted, looks like dead coral, maybe that encrusted with sponge. Nice. Hmm. Ah, and this is a
Okay.
oyster, but it's a ta, 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 ta. I can't think of the name. I know that I can't think of the name. But anyway, it's a bivalve. It's an oyster and sponge and
That's another encrusting sponge.
this here. Yeah.
The purple. It's the same. I don't. I think it's a different species, but the last photograph also had an encrusting sponge.
Yeah. Well, there's sponge all over this oyster also. Oh, but I can't think of the name of it. Oof. Well, it looks like you guys are both in the same spot for this anemone fish and anemone. Well, Like a face plant in the coral reef.
Hmm. Wow.
I'd seen this of Liz's before. I've never seen this nudibranch.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Hmm.
Well, the hawksbill. Uh, all right. So, Jane?
Yeah, so this was I think the first dive of our first full day of diving maybe, and um this is Napoleon grouper. I think that's what it's called. And just to show the size of it, that's me underneath and some of the other divers.
Hey Jane, that's a wrasse. It's actually not a grouper.
Yeah, Napoleon Wrasse.
You know what? You're right. I was gonna say wrasse, but I was like, no, it's too big to be a wrasse. Thank you.
And thanks to Jane for scrambling to get her pictures because you have your
Oh my God. Yeah, my laptop got hacked, and thank you, Liz, for helping me. She helped download my photos from my camera, and this is the camera that I used. This was a gift from my boyfriend. It's a Sea Life. Um, so yeah, what I am presenting is mostly the larger animals. Yeah, this is one of the mantas with the fusilier, fusilar. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Fusilier.
Yes, those. And then another shot.
oh, nice shot.
And another just to show the scale again.
With whale shark pattern.
Yeah, Kara had the
Great.
That's me.
greatest gear. And I think some kind of tang fish, the school of tang fish underneath the manta, and then the juvenile eagle ray above. This is a big nose unicorn fish, I believe.
Being cleaned
With
too. There's a cleaning fish here.
yeah,
Or is it
with
staying still? Must have been staying still. And then this one is cleaning the parasites off.
wow. And then the antioids in the background.
Oh, was this shallow?
I'm gonna say I don't remember, honestly. I really don't remember. I mean, by shallow, maybe like 40 feet, 20 feet.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about 20 something because I see all the light is here. And
Mm. I forget the name of this kind of an enemy, but I like the composition of this and the lighting.
I think it's a magnificent sea anemone.
Okay.
and what's cool to see is when they're almost closed, and you can see all of that purple, and it's pretty cool. Mhm.
This is the back end of the whale shark. Amazingly, there's no divers in view, which I don't know how that happened. I mean, I was so surprised. This is my first time diving with whale sharks. It was like we were out at sea for days, not seeing anyone else, no other boats, nothing. And then, I don't know, maybe like the fifth day out, we passed a boat and then another, and then like masses of boats. And it was like an amusement park. And
Hmm.
everyone was trying to find the whale sharks, and then someone spotted them, and it was just this mad rush. All these divers, snorkelers just all jumped in at once. It was like we were like clamoring at least I was like scrambling. I remember at one point being sandwiched between two people. I was like not meaning to, but we were all trying to get to the animal at the same time. And it was like, I had like someone like hitting my head. I was hitting someone else's head. And it
No.
was,
Sounds
the
wonderful.
animal seemed to be moving really slowly, but the current was so strong. Like I was sweating in my wetsuit. I had a 3 mil on, and it just, to try to keep up was so hard. And so I never could get to the front of it. So to see that shot that Andrew took and Vanessa earlier was so awesome, because like I tried like hell, and like by the end of it I was just like huffing and puffing into my regulator. And this is only like probably 30 to 40 feet down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was just,
I was just
what's
gonna
that?
say, they swim so fast, but you can't, they look like they're gliding like
Yeah.
gracefully through the water, but they're swimming really, really fast.
Yeah.
So in order to keep up with it, you
It
either have
was
to be,
the hardest dive of my life. I
Hmm.
was like, I've never had anything like that before. And Musa, he swam so hard, and he got Vanessa and Andrew and pulled them forward through this current, kicking, 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 and then he got them to the front, and then he came back and got me and pulled me forward. And he got me there, and then I think he went back to try to get other people, and I couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
This is a orange striped triggerfish, I believe.
Cool fish.
I like the composition of this one. It kind of shows the underwater community where they all live. The yellow snapper, blue stripe yellow snapper. We went one or two dive sites where they were just, it was like being in Manhattan, like downtown New York City, with these things. It just like fields and fields and fields of them. And then I like this picture because the turtle was just kind of hanging out. He's just kind of floating there. I like this one. These are the nurse sharks, and you can see up close the detail, um, like the texture of the shark's skin, and then the different movements of them.
Now, did you see them in a lot of places? Because I see the pictures come up a couple of times of nurse sharks.
Yeah, no, this place, I forget what it's called, maybe Shark Alley or something. It was like this valley, and the currents were strong here because the water would just whip through this valley, and the sharks would come and just hang out. Um, and yeah, this was like probably one of the only sites where we saw them. Maybe one other, one of our last dives where we saw the tiger shark in the forget what the name, Vanessa said the name of the other types of shark channel. Yeah.
spinner
And
sharks.
Spinner shark. Did we see bull sharks?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lemon shark, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there might have been a few nurse sharks there, but this was the site where they were in abundance. We did see them at the back of the boat. That was another thing. Every time you look down in the boat, there was some really cool action going on. Always, always something. Seemed like a very healthy ocean.
oh, nice shot.
Yeah. They were
So-
very, very tame. You could get like an inch away. I mean, I was probably like, I don't know, 5 inches here. You could get so close and they were just so chill.
Great shot. Nice perspective.
Just kind of showing off the composition here with the eagle ray. I don't even know if that's an adult or a juvenile. I don't really remember seeing any adult eagle rays. So probably a juvenile.
There's a moray. I don't think I've seen this kind of moray.
I think it's
what-
called the honeycomb.
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 Hmm, cool.
And some kind of skate with the tiger shark in the background. Looks like his fin was for this tiger shark, something happened to his fin, his dorsal fin.
It'd be exciting to see a tiger shark.
It was so exciting, and I've never been scared underwater except for with this one shark, only because there was a group of other divers, probably like 50 feet away with a trough of like fish or bait or whatever. And they were feeding, there was a feeding frenzy going on. And I was videoing it. Again, I wish I could show the video on Zoom, but it's just not possible. But anyway, the shark grabbed some of the bait and was swimming at me with it, and it shook his head so hard and it ripped the meat apart, and he was coming straight at me, and I got shivers, and then luckily it bolted to the side, but that was a little scary. And they told us all stay together, face out, and don't go off on your own. That was the only time they told us like stay together as a group. And this is, I think, a bull shark. And the poor thing, I wanted to show, it looks like a rope got
Yeah,
caught
looks
around
like-
him.
Yeah.
Luckily, he's not caught up anymore.
That's probably not a bull shark. I'm not
Looks like
sure what it
Is
is.
that what
think
is
it's
it,
a
a spinner
spinner.
shark?
Yeah, I think that's another spinner shark.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think this is my last photo. I just like the composition.
That's great. Well,
I'm guessing those are kind of like white tang or something.
very nice. Very, very nice. Now, Kara.
I
Like
think
you-
the funny
ahead.
thing is there's going to be some deja vu with some of my photos and Jane's and
Okay.
Liz's. I think less so from Vanessa's, but it's really cool to see like which ones we all picked two out of them. But when Sean asked me to take part on this, it was mostly to talk about using the Sea Life Sport Diver housing. It's the smartphone housing that Sea Life has. I'm not really a photographer. I'm a graphic designer, so all of my photos are going to be pretty heavily edited in Photoshop. But I really like this housing a lot. I've never really been able to invest in a real housing for like an SLR. And I went out on a limb and tried this and decided it was okay if my phone was sacrificed for the greater good of underwater photography. But luckily I haven't run into any issues with that. It's a really cool housing. It has some drawbacks to it. They actually have two new models. I don't think they sell the model I have anymore, but it fits most phones. It comes with, I think mine came with a magenta and a red filter, which I don't really use. I prefer editing them after the fact. And I use mine with a Sea Life Sea Dragon video light. One thing to note, Muso told us that video lights do tend to irritate most of the sea life. So I didn't use mine that often because there was just so many cool things to look at. I didn't want anything to scoop because I wasn't a fan of my lights. So I have some rough color. The biggest thing that I think is good to know about these is they do not have a compatible strobe, so you can't get a external flash for it. I really wish they would come up with one just because it would be a huge help with this because there's a few focusing issues too when you're in water that has any backscatter or is not perfectly clear visibility, and you might be shooting and not realize that you were shooting slightly out of focus. Most of my manta pictures are pretty blurry, so the few that I got were really exciting. But the last thing I'll say real quick, just about the product itself, I got a drop of water on the water sensor plate that's on the bottom of the internal part of it. I think it was from a condensation switch. And it did go off. All the alarms went off like they were supposed to. But the only problem was no matter how I dried it and tried to clean it up and re-dry and reapply all the lubricant on the O-rings, it would never fully seal afterwards. It worked for the rest of the trip, but it was mostly me just knowing it because I've been using it for the past 3 trips that I was on. I could tell when the vacuum seal was actually activated and it would allow me to take photos, but it did let me know that the sensor was damaged. So I reached out to Sea Life to see if this is something that I could get a replacement part on. And since I have a version that they're not really selling anymore, they don't have parts that they can really offer. But I'm thinking about getting the next one up. They have a compact version now and an ultra one, which fits bigger phones. So.
Now, will it will it has a vacuum?
Yes. So it
comes standard
has.
with it? Yeah.
Yep. The cool thing is when it only has like 2 O-rings too on it, so it's the main housing. When it clamps down, you have that one large ring on it, and you can see the top little valve on there. That's where you do the vacuum sealing. It's usually 3 pumps, and it has a gauge to tell you if you've gone too far, not enough. So it was really easy to follow. I had never used one with a vacuum like this, so it was good to get used to it and to also learn about when and not to seal it so that you don't have condensation issues.
And now, are there external wet lenses that can go on this?
There are now. When we left for this trip, I don't think they had come out yet, but they do have, I think they have a wide angle and they have a macro lens that snaps onto it. I believe you can use them with the filters also. The filters snap onto that front viewing window. And I believe the 2 lenses that they're now selling will clip on top of those. So you can use all of the accessories.
Okay. And you said you don't use the filters, that you do it in post. You do.
Yeah. I'm a graphic designer, so I luckily have access to Adobe's Creative Suite through work. So I'm able to go in and probably overprocess my photos that way. But they do work. I use them before. I just like having a little bit more control in the editing in the computer. So
Okay. Well, let's see what an iPhone does. This was an iPhone. Yes. Okay.
yeah. So this I was shooting off an iPhone 16 Pro, which I realized I had got the phone about a week before we left for the trip, so a little nerve-wracking, but this phone was slightly too big. Like it fit fine, but there is a slight pressure mark on one of the sides of my phone from where the casing was just a little tight. But I have the first few photos that are in here are some of the more challenging photos. This is the snorkel portion from the whale shark, so you can kind of see a lot of unfocus. This was the same tiger shark, which my favorite part was we didn't realize there were 2 tiger sharks on this dive until after we were looking at our photos, because Jane and I have photos of the shark with the chomp and the dorsal fin, and Vanessa has one with an intact dorsal, which was really cool. This was one of the better photos that I got of the tiger shark. She kind of swam right around me at one point, and Ali, our other dive guide who was with us, was about 10 feet away from me, just watching. It was really close, and I'm lacking the right fear response for sharks, and I was just mesmerized by it. So, and the feeding hadn't started yet, which when that happened, Musa told us to start heading up because yikes. But yeah, there was a lot of visibility issues at this site too. So this is part of the reason why I had to do so much editing work to get this so that you could see the tiger. This I actually took my dive light on this one just to see the difference shooting with it. So I had a light shining on this, and it was a really calm part of the reef, so I could take a photo with the light on it. And it's a little chaotic because I was holding the camera in one hand and shooting with it, and holding the light in the other. So not the most ideal way to get a smooth shot, but it does help to see like how much more color was on this reef too. This was by far and away the healthiest reef system I've ever seen, and just the huge amount of fish. So um, this is just, if it had a strobe, it'd be really cool. um, so mantis shrimp are one of my favorite animals, and we saw a couple of them on this, and this was right before I was able to get some more attention from everybody to see this guy, and he was not happy that I got a little close to try to get the shot. The one thing with using this is you do have zoom controls on the housing that work with your phone, but it's the same thing. Like if you zoom in to take a photo on your iPhone, you're just sort of like live cropping your photo instead of actually zooming in. This would have worked a lot better if he hadn't have shot a whole bunch of sand out at me as I got in a little too close to try to get a picture of him. So I let him win because I didn't want him to punch my phone into oblivion, and I backed up. But it was really, I have a bunch of really blurry photos of him trying to bully the fish around him. So I'm really glad I got this one because it got a little bit of the action of him throwing the sand up too. This was just more of like when we're in shallower water, the colors definitely came through better. I didn't have to do as much adjustments to it. I think this was a blue mask angelfish and a Moorish idol, but these were really big fish and they were not like zooming through, so I was able to get a pretty clean shot of them.
Well,
This one I included just because it kind of shows there's another similar shot to this right after, but I just really wanted to catch how many of these fish were in this shot. I don't think I've ever seen this many fish diving ever. It was incredible. On this one side, I think this was a blue wall. There was a ton of soft corals on it. It was a gorgeous sight. And there were just so many of them that I don't think the camera actually knew how to focus in where. So it captures how much was there, but there's not as much detail on it, which if you look at the next one, there's a lot more detail on a much smaller group. So the housing does really well if you don't have good lighting for it, if you kind of get things in the middle ground. Like if you are not up too close, since I don't have the macro or the wide eye lens that they offer now, if you're in the sort of like that mid range, that's when you're going to get some pretty good successful shots. I do like there's one little guy looking right at you. I think this was one of the same eels that we all got pictures of. But this was also one of the cleaning stations. And I liked this one because there's a lot of silt happening. There's a lot more soft corals and sand kind of floating around. So it does play a little havoc with the camera's ability to focus. But the next one is a little bit of a calmer shot with I'm actually not sure if this is a giant moray or if it's a different type of moray, but he had some funky stuff going on in his head. And I just really liked this one because it was a really tranquil shot. I was able to stay there. I actually took about 15 pictures of this eel. This one was the clearest one. So this one wasn't, I don't think it was a black cheek because he didn't come at me. So I'm not sure if this was the bull shark. I was trying to compare dorsal and tail fins, but this is from that really big, I think it was called the Harbor Zoo was the name of the site with the tigers and the spinners. But this was all happening with the tigers coming around us and the hundreds of spinners. And I looked down at one point and there was this really beefy looking shark. And it was just incredible to watch how comfortable they were with all of us. And I think it helped in this case that I had the sand to help balance out some of the contrast on this to actually get a little bit of a clearer shot. This is another eagle ray. There are so many eagle rays. There are some dive trips that you go, and if you see one eagle ray, it's like, oh my gosh, we got to see an eagle ray, and we had an embarrassment of eagle rays to deal with. And they're one of my favorites, and I just really like their smiles. I also really like that this was a native habitat for lionfish. I'm so used to seeing them in the Caribbean and not being able to be excited about them, but being able to see them where they're supposed to be was really cool to actually get to enjoy some lionfish. I tried to get some really good anemone fish, and this was one of my better ones. But yeah, they were pretty aggressive, so I had to get up pretty close to get a clear shot. So I realized real quick that they were just gonna be real unhappy with me, so I didn't take as many. But
Oh,
yeah, this is another one of we saw a lot of octopus too on this trip, which I don't think I've seen this many octopus ever. And um, I have some pictures when he or she was fully white, then switching colors, and this was just it was so cool to actually be able to see the texture of their skin that close. We were in pretty shallow water too, so the lighting I did very little to this photo, which was exciting because the lighting was clear enough that you actually got to see this much of the octopus's detail.
Every dive we were on, there was octopus.
It's nuts.
It's,
I
crazy.
but I
saw that.
think the
Really?
same species. I don't
I think
remember
are they
seeing
day
different.
octopus? I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I have a lot of really blurry turtle photos too because they just zoom through. This was my favorite one that I was able to get just because this very clearly just came from a cleaning station and the shell was spotless and it was just a really tranquil part of the reef and it's just one of my favorite turtle pictures I've ever been able to shoot. So
It was a nice shot.
thanks.
Oof. So is this.
Uh, this is one of my more clear manta photos. Mantas are my absolute favorite. So I was a mess the whole time we were on. I think we did this manta dive twice too. And at one point I was just like, I'm pretty sure I ate through half my tank just because I was so excited to see them and just seeing how big they were and all the different, there was like 5 smaller eagle rays that were around them and there was so many fish and it was just incredible to see them at this big cleaning station. The second time around too, I don't think I actually brought my camera for the second trip because this was when I was trying to figure out the water sensor issue. And I'm really bummed out about it because there was a very aggressive giant moray that kept on coming after Sean. And Andrew kept seeing him pop out of different spots of the reef. And it was just really funny to see because we're not actually sure if he was mad or if he was just trying to check Sean out. We're not sure. But it was a great sight. I love parrotfish. I never get tired of taking pictures of parrotfish, and this was you got to actually get a sense of the color variation on them, and I really like that they got a couple photos that kind of gave you a sense of how big the reefs were and all the different species that were actually there. This one I got really excited about. There's a peacock flounder in there, and I think it's a peacock flounder, but yeah, you can see his eyes sticking up. And this was that blue wall site that had all the soft corals on it. This was on the shallower side of it, and I was coming up this ledge, and it was right there, and it was perfect conditions. The lighting was really clear. There was no silt anywhere, so I was able to just sit and take a bunch of photos of this. And at first, when I was going through my photos, I got tricked by myself and was like, I don't know what I was taking a picture of. There's nothing here. And then I remembered there was a flounder. So
Well, they are masters of camouflaging. So.
yeah. And this is that Shark Channel again too. I was very lucky my birthday happened on the trip. So this dive was actually my birthday trip. So I got to get this close to these nurse sharks and actually be able to get a photo up close with them like this, which was pretty incredible. The current was wild, so I was laying down on the sand next to them with my camera like this taking photos, and I think they were sleeping. They were just kind of chilling out a little bit. And the craziest thing was at one point when I was trying to exit so I wouldn't disturb them at one point, all I had to do was barely press off the sand with my fingertips and the current just whipped me right back. But the one thing that I will say that I liked about the camera, even with the focusing issues, the first time when we got down here, we didn't know where we were supposed to hook in yet. So I had found a piece of rock to hold on to. And I was turning around to get pictures because there was a whole bunch of them coming in. Like I think there was like 6 or 7 at one point that came in, and Vanessa was setting up to take pictures, and they were kind of coming around her, and Liz was in the background coming up, and I was able to just stick my hand out and just take a whole bunch of photos, which it's really nimble when you're trying to do something like that. You just have to hope that it's focused in the right way, and that if you take enough, one of them will be decent.
It's a shotgun approach, so
Yeah.
it works.
Um, I really like taking photos with different shadows at play, and with the light coming down from the surface. This was just a really big tuna. And getting to kind of get a little bit of their like metallic quality was really cool to see them. And I got a couple different pictures of it swimming up over me. And I take a lot of pictures from like down below looking back up at the reef. And I think Liz has a much more artistic version of the same thing, but this is the same scorpion fish nestled in that little piece of coral. And I was very lucky that it was a clear, I think this was one of the more shallow reefs too, where we were doing our safety stop areas. And it's just a really lucky chance to get a picture with that kind of lighting. And yeah, I also am a big fan of white tip reef sharks, and seeing all of the blue triggerfish behind them, they were also really, really cool up close. They had so many different variations of blue in their scales, and just being able to get a shot to show, especially my non-diving friends, just how healthy the system was and the amount of fish there was pretty incredible.
Nice image. Very nice. Whoop. Was that,
That's it for me.
that was it? Okay. Well, wonderful, all of you. This looked like it was a fabulous trip.
It's amazing.
It's got me convinced that I have to put that on my list. So I'm going to speed things along because Michael's is waiting in the wings, and we're getting low on time. So, Michael, I'm going to stop sharing, and if you want to share, Michael, you?
I sent you a request to be able to,
Yeah,
you have to let me share.
I think I just did.
Okay.
And while you're getting things ready, is if you regularly get, not regularly, but if you get emails from me, great. If you don't, and you want them, but it's some information, in the chat, please put your email address, because the reason you don't get them is because I don't have your email address. Because I want to be able to send you some information. We don't have time to do it all tonight, but next month, our last month for this year, is the theme is my favorite 10 pictures from 2025. So what I'm hoping that everyone will be sending me their favorite 10. They don't have to be a 10 best, just 10 that you like. And then send them to me, and I'll give you all that information. And then I'll put them in one big slideshow, and we'll have a blast. So let me stop right now and go to Michael, and then I'll continue.
Can you see my slides okay?
I can. You don't have it started yet, but I see okay, I see your film strip underneath.
Oh, you don't see the deck?
We see the equipment.
Interesting. You have some weird stuff in your thing. Let me try it a different way then.
Okay.
Can you see the deck now?
I see you.
Can you
And
see it
Nothing shared yet.
now?
You have to go to presenter view.
I tried that and it didn't work. So, and I do this literally 3 or 4 times a week. So, it's very interesting. You can't see the deck at all?
Well, we see everything. We see all your
you see your whole
slides.
screen, right?
Yeah, I tried. So I tried the presentation mode and it did not work. So that's why I went to this.
Ellen,
Can you
or
share a portion of screen?
So can you see the slides or not?
Yeah, we can see the
We see
slides.
Maldives, Mike Leach,
All right.
Virginia.
If you go to slideshow and click
Oh,
on
that's
play
good.
slideshow, that might do that.
Yeah, that might
So
bring,
I already tried down here, and what do you guys see now?
That's presenter view we're seeing.
Yeah.
Use use the slideshow on the very top.
You might just
wanna
want to
go,
turn off presenter
Oh,
view.
that's much better. Thank you,
Good.
That's
Tom.
good.
All right.
yeah. Good.
Yeah, good for
And-
something.
It's interesting because I do this a lot, and I've had struggled with this with your setup more, Andy, for whatever reason. All right, let's get
Oh,
going.
blame me. Oh, yeah.
I am. So this is my equipment. Um,
All right,
you,
let's go.
you can see everything okay, right?
Yes,
Okay.
and fine too. Yeah.
So I use a Sony A1 Nauticam housing. For my wide angle, I use the standard Sony 28-60. And then I use, for this trip, I had the Nauticam WWL 1B for the wide angle. Did 1 day of macro, which is a Sony 90, which is a standard. And then I have 2 diopters at the time. And then CNC YSD3 strobes. I did not use a mini flash on this particular trip. All right, so the weather we had was terrible. This is from the we were on the Man Theory as well. This was in July of 2022. Um, it was shortly after COVID and things were starting to open up. Somebody got onto the boat, they were ill and they did have COVID. And then several other people got COVID, including me. But the weather was really rough. We were not able to actually leave Mali. So we basically did day trips from Mali, and we did not get to see a lot of things. I had been to the Maldives once before, and so I had seen a lot more. Virginia had not seen this stuff. All right, so this is my stuff. This is me taking a picture of anemone with the anemone fish. Virginia shot this one. So this is the red fire goby. Tried to get both of them lined up, and kind of a mirror image, if you're at least symmetrical. And again, everything's going to be wide angle. The conditions were so bad that wide angle was extremely challenging. Not only was there a lot of wave action on the surface, but there was a tremendous tremendous amount of backscatter. And it was very dark because there was no sun. So that combination made it very challenging. This is a Blackfoot anemone fish over the magnificent sea anemone, and you can see the body with a very colorful purple. I tried to frame this so the anemone and the anemone fish were silhouetted or with the reef in the background, and then you had the ocean or more open ocean to the left. This is a school of blue striped snapper. And again, you can see the very colorful yellow. This was a school of humpback snapper, and I think this was in the background of somebody else's picture. They are very colorful with the red to burgundy fins. And I couldn't even get this school all in my wide angle shot. You can see it continues on to both the left and the right.
Great image. Well,
This is a school of headband butterfly fish for the most part. There's a raccoon butterfly fish in the upper left. And you can see the humpback snappers in the background in the center as well. So again, lots of fish, as people have noted. So we did see quite a few eels, and one of the dives we did, and because they were relatively stationary, we were able to get some good pictures. So this is a giant moray with a honeycomb moray in the same area. I kind of like the way they seem to be interacting with each other. And then you've got the Anthias and the Maldives cardinal fish around them as well. This is a yellow margin moray. It had one tooth in particular that was quite large. So I tried to get this symmetrical head-on shot that everybody likes. So this is a Blue Streak cleaner wrasse cleaning one of these two giant morays, and there's actually a honeycomb in this hole as well, but you can't really see the head. This is not a blue streak. This is where I copy and paste and I'm doing a mistake. This is a honeycomb. But the cool thing here is, of course, you've got the manta swimming in the background. I wish I had taken this like half a second before, and the manta was just a little bit more separated from the moray eel. So this is going to be a question for you all. I have two pictures here. So this is a blue streak cleaning a giant moray, and then there's the yellow sweepers around it. Some of the picture in the upper part has the Maldives cardinal fish. They've got that little blue stripes on the front. And then there's also a couple of Durban dancing shrimp, which I'll have better pictures of in a minute. So question, do people like this one or this one? Chime in, unmute.
I
The
would say the
first one.
first.
Yeah, the
First-
first
yeah,
one.
First one.
Okay.
They're also on the first one, it looks like there's maybe some other animal in the center to the right. The red and white little something. Do you see
This
that?
guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a goby. I have not bothered to identify that because there's so much here. But yes, there's also an
So
oyster
much.
here as well. All right, interesting.
I like this one though.
Yeah, I mean, this is great because it has all of the these little golden gobies swimming right towards you or holding that pad underneath.
Mm.
But I think the other, personally, the other is more dramatic, I think, with
This one, you could see the shrimp better. The second one,
oh yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
upper left.
Uh-huh. Yeah, very true. But to have that goby in the first one, the neon goby, just lying in its mouth, looks like it's just stretched out lying there. It's a cool shot. Yeah.
Okay.
So you super glued that moray, that neon goby in there?
Absolutely. I tied him in there. I was very careful. We did not see very many mantas. I think we saw one. We had one close encounter with a manta on one day, and the rest of the time, no mantas. So you all definitely had a whole lot more manta experience than we did. This is the one that we got that I got a good picture of. Scorpion fish, tasseled scorpion fish, and the other thing here is you can see the really pretty soft corals. And the scorpion fish was trying to emulate the soft coral, I think. Blue streak cleaner wrasse cleaning oriental sweet lips. So here's a close-up of the Durban dancing shrimp. And there were quite a few. This was also around where the moray was.
How big are those shrimp?
Um,
Like an
Probably
inch
an
or so?
inch. Yeah, probably an inch and
Wow.
a half.
Wow.
Their eyes
at
are
those
amazing.
eyes.
And this
And
was
then-
shot with my wide angle lens too.
And is
Uh,
that coral at the very, very bottom?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And what wide angle lens did you use for this?
Same one. So the 28 to 60 for the lens itself, and then the WWL 1B for the wet wide angle. So that does let you focus up to literally touching the lens. I wouldn't recommend that, but you can focus very close. And then the other thing is these images are 8,000 by almost 6,000 pixels, so it does allow you to zoom in a bit.
And the lens is by what manufacturer? Who's that? Is that a?
The wet
Mhm.
lens is a Sony.
Yeah, yep.
Sorry, Nauticam.
Not, yeah, but the lens that was it 28 to 60? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
it's a Sony, and
Sony.
it's a kit lens. It's a crap piece of it's not a good lens on land, but Nauticam has when you put the Nauticam wide angle systems on it. I also have an FCP1 now. I did not have it for this, but that makes these be very good lenses underwater for wide angle.
Yeah, cool. Looks like quite versatile. Yeah. Okay.
So this is going to be another either or. So this is more of the Durban dancing shrimp and the yellow sweeper. So this will be the same shot, but cropped differently. Curious which one people like.
Say the second one for me, anyway.
Yeah, the
Second,
second one.
second one.
Definitely the second one.
All right. Not as much controversy on that one. Again, this is a wide angle shot. This is a low-key whip goby. And I thought it was really cool because I was able to frame it up against the reef and then the open water. And you've got the silhouettes of some of the other fish that are swimming around. And they're also blurry because, depth of field. And again, I'm probably only an inch or two away from the fish.
I could just make a comment back to the A or B on that last one. I
Yeah.
think one reason why everybody likes the second one is in this format, it fills the frame. Whereas, I mean, if you're talking about maybe framing something, different, if it's a different environment, then maybe the portrait view would be okay. The thing I like about the portrait view is the shrimps at the bottom. Whereas in the landscape view, they've been cut off.
Yep.
So, it just depends on, but if you're going to show a slideshow, filling the screen is really ideal.
Okay, thank you. Another sweet lips getting cleaned by two cleaner wrasse. There is a little bit of a moral here that because the visibility was so bad, and all of these have been through backscatter exterminator, otherwise they would look like a snowstorm. This is a hawksbill. I always like to catch them actually feeding. So I got this one with its mouth open. You can tell he's looking at the what he's trying to eat, or she, I don't know which it is. And then it's got some red coloration on the skin and shell. I presume that's some sort of algae. This was with a macro, so this and my next one or two are the only ones that were with a macro. And of course here I wish I had my wide angle. This is a long-nosed hawkfish, and it's within some frondy black coral. And I just thought it was very colorful and pretty, and I like the angles relative to the fronds of the black coral. Also with my 90. All right, so now I'm going to turn it over to Virginia. She did not have her camera for this particular picture in this dive. So I'm doing them? Okay. Am I doing them?
Sure.
All right, I'm doing them. All right, so this is a yellow margin moray. I really like the color around the eye, and then of course in the background you've got the Napoleon wrasse silhouetted. So very cool. schooling bannerfish. She made this into a black and white. And again, you can actually see the Napoleon wrasse kind of in the upper left in the background. Blackfoot anemone fish in the anemone. And a really cool shot of Susan's flatworm with a relatively shallow depth of field on the subject. Questions, answers?
I just that last shot of that nudibranch was really cool. Like I don't know what you call it, the composition or the perspective. Like you usually don't see nudibranch shot like that. So really, really cool shot.
So these are actually not nudibranchs. They're flatworms. So they
Oh,
don't have the gills that are required to be called a nudibranch.
But they're almost
oh,
harder to take a photo of because of that, because there's not the same thing to focus on, in my opinion.
mm,
And they don't stop generally. They're
No.
constant motion, you know.
Yeah, they're always moving. They can actually, some of them can swim. They'll kind of flap and they can swim.
Well,
Did you say you were there in May or June?
July.
July? Was that the off season? Is that like generally the stormy season?
No, so when I went the first time, it was also in July, and we saw everything you did. We did, I think they have the same rotation for a given time of the year. And so we did a lot of the sites that you mentioned, and we saw the nurse sharks and everything. And yeah, it was unexpected to have the bad weather, and it lasted literally the whole time we were there. So
And you had to kind of stay at the first place, like you couldn't really travel around.
right, so we had to stay in the harbor in Mali, and so we couldn't leave that area.
Wow,
it's tough. You go all that
I
distance.
know.
And then we both got COVID for the first time.
Yeah,
Oof.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
it
I mean,
looks like when you were down there, you got to see some cool stuff.
We did, if you saw these images before I processed them, you would be surprised because again, there was a whole lot of backscatter. The weather at the top made there be a lot of surge. And again, we couldn't get far away or far out. And so there was just sand literally everywhere.
I didn't bring my camera for a lot of the dives because I just found that it was not enjoyable to take photos. So as you can see, I just kind of went diving for a number of them and just sort of had as much fun as I could with it.
yeah, sometimes you just have to make do. You have to just do safe sanity. Yeah, because it's frustrating. I think we've all been on trips like that where you travel a great distance and certainly spend a pile of money, and then the conditions, whether it's water quality or just bad weather, and someone having the COVID. I was on a trip a couple of years ago on again, liveaboard, and someone came aboard with a norovirus, and that went through everyone. So, and it's not a place to be sick. So, yeah, but it's a luck of the draw. You have to just think about how many wonderful trips you had, that the visibility was great and the people were good and the place was great. You can't bat 1,000, but certainly makes you feel lousy when when you get there and things don't work out well.
Yep.
All right, well, I want to thank everyone for the presenters, number one. These were fabulous images. And it really got a wide view of what the Maldives has to offer. So I'm definitely in on on the next trip. But so if you again, if not, those of you that because a few people came in late, Um, if you would like to present, you 10, let me back up for a second. I noticed there's a half dozen new names. So if you would like to, first off, send me your email, put that in the chat, and then I'll be in touch with some directions. But please feel free to send me 10 of your pictures that you shot this year, and then we'll put them all together on a giant slideshow. And don't feel that just because you just started, that you aren't qualified. Everybody's qualified, so would love to see the images that you have. So on that,
What's the date for that one?
the date is that, well, it's the day before Halloween. It's the
Okay.
5th. And I would like the images the 23rd, but I'll explain that. And since there's going to be a lot of people, and I put it in a slideshow, if you send it to me after the 23rd, I won't even look at it. I'm telling you that 'cause I'll have a house full of company from France, and I will not be able to spend time going through stuff afterwards. So uh, send them to me before, and actually the earlier the better, because that way, in case there's any issue, I can communicate that with you, and then we'll sort it out. But so
And
please,
that's the last meeting of this year?
yeah. So because of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and other holidays, Hanukkah and stuff. All that makes it kind of crazy for those. There's a busy time, so we usually just chill out November, December, and then begin our first meeting in January. So
Andy, did you want people to indicate again if they were planning to send photos?
yes, thank you, Darryl. So if you
Because
are
people are starting to, disconnect probably.
okay. All right. So thank you, Daryl. If you would like to, please, in the chat room, just put your name down. That's all. And then we'll get a hold of you. And so please, and then once I get your contact information, then and if you don't feel comfortable putting it on this, then send it to the dive shop. And, or if you have my email address, feel free. Okay. When I say dive shop, it's undersea divers. So put your name down. I will be in touch with all the people, but I'll send everybody. I'll broadcast emails out, and then we'll see how many people we have. So I look forward to seeing all that. Look forward to seeing you and next month. And also, thank you very much for all these wonderful images tonight. So to all,